GranGetsGoing.com presents Here's the Embarrassing Truth. Hi there, Grans. In today's coaching video, I'm coming clean. I just have to get this stuff off my chest. This is particularly embarrassing when viewed in light of the 5 core principles of Gran Gets Going. And if you don't know what they are or can't remember, here they are just quickly. The place for change is within me. Don't judge or criticize anyone else or myself. Be kind to myself and others. Do what's right, and we're all doing the best we can. The truth is, I'm going to come clean about some of my old communication skills. You'll see they have no connection to the 5 core principles at all. And I didn't realize how I was sabotaging my own happiness so successfully by behaving like this. Sounds a bit weird, I know, but I guess I've come to view self-sabotage as being like an enormous elephant. And that's because I've learnt there's so many different aspects to it and so many angles, each of them giving a different view. A bit like walking around an elephant, I guess. So Gran, some of this may sound familiar, but I invite you to stick with me and see how you fare when we get to the kindness test, especially in regard to yourself. Okay Gran, let's get to it. Here I am, Gran, inside now. It was lovely outside, wasn't it? And I'll be going straight back out when I've finished this. I hope you're enjoying lovely weather wherever you are. All right, the embarrassing truth. Off we go. For years I suffered from a whole host of what I believe to be destructive ways of interacting. Actually, suffering suggests I was a victim, when in fact we all know I had full control of myself. That hurts. Here's some of the things I used to do, and I need to apologise, that's the embarrassing bit, as it will take quite a while to tell you about them. Okay, here we go. Number 1, believing my view was the only right one. Number 2, being bossy. Surprisingly, good husband spotted that one. Imposing my ideas on others. Now, I invite you to consider them. Progress. Number 4, judging others from both up close and from afar. I don't know which one is worse. Number 5, beating myself up. I'm very good at that one. Number 6, gossiping. I think it could sometimes be called backstabbing. That's a double ouch. Number 7, being plain old mean and uncharitable to others. Oh, and to myself. Number 8, making humorous jokes at the expense of other people and myself. There I am again. Number 9, blaming others or anything else I could think of when my great ideas actually sucked. Oh, there's many others, but that's enough. I can't take much more of hearing my bad points. But, to my great relief, I actually recall feeling masses of guilt when I was mean about other people. So, I'm not all bad then. But I still slip up from time to time. But who's perfect? Certainly not me. Obviously, I remain a work in progress. So, Gran, if you're interested, we could continue to progress along together. Just for the record. Before we go any further, and just for the record, I'm not trying to tell you I know the exact right thing to do in any situation. No siree. And I'm not saying you should listen to me and do what I tell you. Double no siree. I'm simply sharing what I found to be destructive to my happiness. I hope it will help you identify anything you may do that's destructive to your happiness. So Gran, why not take a minute, look into your heart and see what's there. And here's something else to consider if you're feeling a little unsure. How would you like to be treated? Do you do anything that you wouldn't like if someone did it to you or to someone you love? There you go. I guess I can't put it much more simply than that. And please, if it sounds like I'm judging, I'm not. That's not my job. I'm just sharing some ideas. Ideas that I know and have seen help many people increase the quality of their lives and the pleasure and fun they get from each and every day and each and every person they interact with. Again, and for the record, I'm not suggesting that you're guilty of any of the things on my list. I'm just putting some ideas out there for your consideration. And it is not my intention to be disrespectful to anyone in any way, or even to suggest that you're like me, or rather like I was. I have improved. So I hope I've made that crystal clear. Just ideas for you to consider. No more, no less. But the fact is, when I was writing this, I had a great deal of trouble recalling anyone that I'd known well who hadn't at least once done something on my list. Now we both know that perfection is a hard taskmaster, and of course no one is perfect, but that doesn't mean we can't strive to be kinder or more thoughtful, does it? But this coming clean can be rather confronting and uncomfortable, wouldn't you agree? But what the heck, let's get it all out now. Okay, Gran, Let's make sure we're on the same page, just so you know exactly where I'm coming from. Let's revisit some of the things I used to do, and more importantly, what I probably thought of myself and what others most likely thought of me as well. What did you think, Gran? And we'll start at number 1, believing my view was the only right one. And let's add in number 3 as well, imposing my views on others. How about arrogant, thoughtless, short-sighted, disrespectful, bossy, disagreeable, and unfriendly? What about when I was just being plain old bossy? Well, here's what I really thought of myself deep down. I was acting like a bully, I was being arrogant and thoughtless, and I was just being plain old mean. And here's number 4, judging others from up close and from afar. What's worse? And what do you think others thought of me? And what did you think, Gran? Maybe that I was judgmental, arrogant, nasty, thoughtless, inconsiderate, disrespectful, unkind. The list does go on. I'm sure there's more, but that will do for now. So darn destructive, time-wasting, energy-sapping, toxic, and just plain antisocial. And I'm darned sure this isn't just my view. I'm sure you agree that none of those behaviours are attractive in any way. And of course, we all know that no one does this day in and day out. Or do they? Be alert, Gran, and see what you see. But now that I'm well on the way to reforming myself, and I've got that all off my chest, I do feel a whole lot better. Thank you for listening. And of course, I also tapped using faster EFT to rid myself of the guilt I felt over this. It's brilliant. Okay, so what made me stop doing this? Well, the truth is I had a few lessons in humility from my colleagues. They were very effective. I realized people's feelings could actually be hurt by my thoughtless actions. Sounds ridiculous when I write it down and read it out, but it's the truth. Sometimes people don't tell you how they feel and you just carry on with your bad habits. So I really started to think about the people on the other end of it. I was on the other end of it from time to time as well. Remember, no one's perfect, so I was sometimes on the receiving end of the equation. I started to think about my family. What if the person receiving this type of behavior was my daughter, my son, or one of my grandchildren? Yowza! That really made me sit up and take notice. So I decided to stop doing it. It didn't happen instantly, and I do occasionally slip up. But I feel like a new person since I stopped all of that. Awesome, as one of my granddaughters likes to say. So, Gran, if you want to create or improve the peace, happiness, and self-respect bubble around you, I invite you to start by trying the following 2 strategies. Here we go. Strategy 1, managing gossip. I can only talk about my own experience here, so here we go. Now, if I was at work and gossip started, and we all know what that is, I would discreetly leave the room, if I could, of course. If I couldn't leave the immediate area, I'd do my best to become very interested in something else in the room. Quite tricky at times. Now we come back to judging. I had no judgment of anyone involved in gossiping. I just knew I didn't want to be involved. I was responsible only for myself and no one else. The truth is, everyone's following their own path, and I respect that. I have no wish to judge or impose my views on others. I'd learnt the folly of that one already. However, if I thought there was a miscarriage of justice, for want of a better word, or something nasty going on, I'd definitely speak up. That would, of course, be on my very bravest days. But I'd tread very carefully. I'd be tactful, respectful, and remember that I don't know the full story. I mean, no one likes a smarty pants or a do-gooder. Sheesh. So the moral of the story? Approach with respect, care, kindness, and caution. And I remembered that I used to do this too. So I simply took responsibility for myself and did what I believed to be right for me. And of course, I did my best not to judge anyone, to be kind, and remember that we're all doing our best, and that's everyone. And remember, I did my best. So, if I was addressed directly, I'd answer with one of my 3 standard replies, depending on the situation, and I'd do my very best not to be drawn in. This can at times be quite tricky, as gossip is often cloaked in a veil of concern, or it's disguised by an affectionate tone in the conversation. So here we go with my escape clauses, for want of a better term. Here we go. Response 1. I'm sure they're doing the best they can. Then I'd simply smile and make a quick exit. Response number 2. I'm sure they'll come up with a really great solution. And again, smile and exit quickly. Response 3. Just a second, and then smile. Is this something you'd be happy saying to them? Smile again. If not, are you sure you want to say it to me? Smile, and then exit really quickly. What happened at work was that people became accustomed to my desire to be uninvolved, so they just stopped gossiping around me, which was a pretty good result from my point of view. Sometimes they'd start, see me, and look sheepish and apologise. I'd simply say, "You don't need to apologise to me," and leave it at that. But I guess some people didn't like me much, but that's okay. They were doing their thing, and I was doing mine, and the world continues to turn. It's all okay. So my point? You can take measures to control your environment if you want to. It might not be a perfect way, but we've already covered the perfect thing, I think. Okay, here we are at my second strategy for improving the happiness bubble around you, the kindness test. As I've already confessed several times, I'm far from perfect, and despite having a genuine love for people and a relentlessly optimistic outlook, I do occasionally lose it, but just quietly. Good husband is well versed in this and will often say to me at these moments, "Does that pass the kindness test?" How helpful! Not! But really, thank goodness I have him to keep an eye on my bad behaviour. I'm grateful he's there to hear anything mean I might say and just let me know I'm doing it. He's also very alert when I disrespect myself. You know what I mean, Gran. I've become very skilled at doing this and will cloak self-criticism with humour. Do you do that too, Gran? Good husband is onto that one and will point it out to me in no uncertain terms. It's amazing how habits can be so entrenched. So to sum up, strategy number 2 helps me get back on track if I notice I'm not feeling overly good. This is generally related to having negative feelings. Maybe about myself, maybe about someone else, maybe about the world in general. But the question is, does this behaviour pass the kindness test? So simple. If whatever you're doing is not making you feel good or wouldn't make someone else feel good, then no, it does not pass the kindness test. So Graham, take a moment and give some thought to what you're thinking right now, or what you were thinking yesterday in that darn traffic jam. How would you fare in the kindness test? I guess this all sounds a bit goody two-shoes-ish, if you know what I mean. But honestly, if you're anything like me, you'll feel so much better on the inside when you're kind. And after all, isn't that what we want? Here we go. Time to get into action, Gran. Step 1. Sit down somewhere comfortable where you won't be interrupted for about 15 minutes. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Now reflect back and think, do I do any of these things? And if you do, would your life and the life of your family and friends be better if you didn't do them? Now give yourself the full 15 minutes and just quietly think about it. No music, no TV, no nothing. Just you and your thoughts. Okay, step 2. If you answered yes in step 1, I invite you to try the strategies, managing gossip and the kindness test. They're a great place to start. Tell your family what you're doing and why. Be respectful of their views. Remember, you're taking responsibility for yourself, no one else. Step 3. Now actually try the strategies in a real situation. See how you feel and please let me know. And a bonus you'll find, Gran, is that you have a lot more time in your day. You'll figure out why. Okay, Gran, time to get back out into that sunshine. Well, here we are, Gran, back out in the sunshine, and it's good to see Spartacus again. But before we go, let me just summarise what this coaching session was really about. Not the easiest of things to do, and we have discussed some strategies, but I've discovered an even better one. And I'm sure you're not surprised, because that's what we're about here at Gran Gets Going, solutions. I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman I have a deep and abiding affection for. His name is Dr. E. Haleakula Hulen. Quite tricky to say, actually. He's a therapist who intrigued the heck out of me when I heard his story. He used an ancient Hawaiian technique to cure an entire ward of mentally ill criminals. This story was actually proven to be true. And it got me to wondering, if this technique cured a whole ward of mentally ill criminals, what could it do to help people with their worries and their anxieties? Well, I went on a mission and I found out everything I could about him, and it turned my world upside down. In a good way. I call him Dr. Hulen for short, and he's a highly educated, spiritual gentleman with a great sense of humour, and he will teach you things about responsibility and affecting your environment in ways that you can't even imagine. Well, you may be able to, but I certainly couldn't. Now, Dr. Hugh Len will get you to tap into your spiritual side, and what he will teach you will absolutely blow your mind. It is so effective. I invite you to explore for yourself and see what he has to offer. If it's peace you want, you'll get it. If it's growth you want, you'll get it. He has it all. He is simply awesome. And Gran, why not nip over to Gran Gets Going right now and pick up your free report, Be Happy Now. It's at the link that's covering my legs. In this free report, you'll discover the 7 easiest and speediest steps you can take to banish the blues right now. You can grab it at the address right here, Gran. Well, that's it from me today. This is Gran, signing off. Be happy, and I'll talk to you soon. Hey tech dudes, how are you today? Wake up, you're on.
Nice to see you, Gran.
Yeah, cool, Gran.
Nice to see you too, boys. Thanks for your help. Bye.
See you later too, Gran. Bye, Gran.
Produced by the Tech Dudes. Hey, who turned the lights out?
Oh!